Hello everyone, in this video we'll discuss teaching autistic children to write. Autism in children is truly a spectrum, meaning no two autistic children are alike. You might have an autistic child who enters first grade writing better than you. This video focuses on kids struggling with writing. Often the first obstacle to writing isn't cognitive. It's not that the child isn't smart enough to learn the letter sequences that form commonly used words. The problem is frequently motor related. Studies show many autistic individuals have dyspraxia, affecting movement planning and execution. It can be fine motor dyspraxia, which affects precise movements, including writing, an extremely complex action or verbal apraxia, which involves the programming of speech movements and often results in autistic children remaining non-speaking. Studies show dyspraxia occurs in about 80% of autism cases, so it's quite common. Your child's therapist should inform you about dyspraxia, but do ask and discuss it with them. For dyspraxia, there are many tools you can use to support the child and make it easier for them to hold a pen, like buying markers with wide grips or using well-known pen grip aids. Another important point, because in autism there's often also a visual exploration issue, is placing the notebook on an inclined plane like this. However, in most cases, dyspraxia is severe enough to prevent satisfactory writing skills. Often I evaluate kids at the end of 5th grade still tracing letters or making continuous lines. Teaching them to write is crucial because writing aids learning, assesses understanding, and in many cases can serve as an alternative communication method for non-verbal or minimally verbal children and teens. We have other alternative communication forms like gestures or visual aids. But while visual aids are inherently limiting as they're just images, we know that with alphabet letters, expressive possibilities are endless. That's why it's crucial to maximize your students' writing learning opportunities. If your student has significant dyspraxia, don't completely abandon pen use, but consider alternative tools. What I suggest is an adapted computer keyboard, not a tablet. Touchscreens aren't suitable for those with dyspraxia, as they might accidentally press nearby keys or press keys multiple times. Instead, use a physical keyboard on a computer, specifically an adapted one. Let me show you an example. This one, available on Amazon at a reasonable price, is designed for kids with large, easy-to-press keys. It's important to place this keyboard on an inclined surface. You can use widely available computer stands to prop up and tilt the connected keyboard. For dyspraxia cases, the best approach would be to consult an OT who specializes in dyspraxia to create a plan for the child, helping them learn to type and providing overall training. A tip I'd like to give you, valid in many cases, though it can't be universally applied, is to have the child start writing from here, positioning their hand like this and encouraging a writing style that goes like this. Type and return, type and return, type and return. Okay, you can guide their hand starting from this position. Why do this? Because in terms of motor programming, doing this is much harder than doing that. So start from a 0 point, see all letters clearly on a sloped surface, and make a movement always starting here from the same point to the target letter. Okay, typing hand down, A to B to C, etc. With dyspraxia is often impossible. Regarding content and learning methods, I recommend starting with copying. So start by copying short words, maybe 2-syllable words. I advise against copying single letters or syllables though, because, and this applies to reading too, single letters or syllables don't make sense. So it's very easy for autistic children who want meaningful things to get frustrated quickly, okay? So focus on copying single words, and as soon as possible, vary the words, change them often, because they can get bored easily there too. And then we say they're oppositional. No, they're not. They're just tired, so move on as soon as you can. Always try, perhaps, to writing from dictation. Once the child can write under dictation, which takes time, move to meaningful content ASAP, so you can also ask questions. Write them on the computer, please. Always write what you ask, as it's easier.
Write questions, read a story, then write a question with two options. For example, in the story, was Lingo a dog or a dinosaur? The child should answer by writing a dog underneath. I won't give specific program or content guidelines, as these should be adapted to each child's profile. But another tip I'll give you is to try to follow the class program as much as possible, so the child can do the same activities and learn the same concepts as in class, presented in a different way that's accessible for them. It can be simplified, you can use visual aids, you can ask simpler questions, but cover the same content as the class. I'll conclude with an invitation to consider that often in autism, despite appearances, the issue isn't cognitive but motor-based. We see brilliant minds trapped by the inability to speak, to execute motor commands, or to plan movements. We must simplify motor tasks while keeping cognitive challenges engaging. Always assume competence in your autistic children, teens, and students. Like if you enjoyed, comment with questions, and see you next time.